guys, welcome to Drive Fest 2024. I think this is probably the only event that we have here in Canada that might compete with some of the events that we go to in the US. So it's gonna be a pretty fun weekend. I don't really know all the cars are gonna show up, but usually the best cars do kind of come here. So, you know, let's see what the weekend has. And Lucas is taking the 599 GTO, and LaFerrari just started up in the background. This is a great start on a Friday morning in the wet for Drive Fest 2024. And now the Veyron is coming down. LaFerrari's here already. We're gonna go move this into there, and slowly we're gonna do all the cars. Okay, so now we are gonna move the LaFerrari. Gotta squeeze in here. It's covered because of the transporting, and you can see the Veyron run in front of us. So let's start it up because the door's open and we're gonna hear the V12. And let's go. So now we just gotta back it all the way into the booth. Just back it in. Now we're gonna go get the Veyron, and they're unloading the SV as well. But yeah, let's move this thing. No reverse cameras or anything this time. Next up is the Veyron. Tight squeeze, a little more spacious on the inside. But it is raining, so door closed, the key in, then you press the start button. And let's move this thing. So we have this lineup here set up. The Ghost is coming in, but we have the GTO, the LaFerrari, the Veyron, and the SV Roadster. But man, these cars look so good here in white. That GTO has never really been kind of displayed anywhere, but this is the first event it's been to. This is a pretty cool duo, actually. I didn't really look at it too much before, but it's not white. It's like a cream color, matching exact pair of a Huracan Evo Spider and a Aventador S Roadster. Actually, no, I think it's an Ultimate. Never mind, Ultimate Roadster. It's super rare. I don't know where these cars came from. Never seen them before, but even the interior is like cream with gold, same color outside. I mean, this is, honestly, I like that. When someone does a matching spec, especially a spec this cool, I gotta really respect that. MR GT3, you can see the kind of disc thing on the wheel on the back, and the seats. Look at that, those look crazy. This is like an absolute track monster. If you guys watched my videos last year at the Porsche factory, they're actually tracking these and like drifting around like the track at the end of the day, just the employees. It was pretty cool. And then another car that caught my eye here is this 991.2 GT2 RS in black. Pretty low key, but 700 horsepower. This thing is crazy. And here we have a tungsten gray 4GT 4-option car. Fun fact, you know it's a US car, not a Canadian car if it's a 4-option car, because in Canada you could only get 3 options. So very cool. Tungsten gray, only came in 06. Then also in the booth is an R32 and a matte blue GT4 RS. So there's this Aventador here. I think they made it look kind of like an S, but I think it's probably an LP700 Roadster. I don't think it's a S. It's got like a SVJ front right here, different bumper. It's a wide body. It's got this crazy wrap or whatever it is on this. And this crazy wing. We'll go behind after so we can see it, but I have a feeling it didn't get done from the nicest Aventador, but you know, it's a pretty unique build that they did to it. And then speaking of unique, next to it, as you see, there is literally a Batmobile. So if you thought an Aventador was a Batmobile, this is a Batmobile. Look, this thing literally looks like it came out of GTA 5 or something. It looks like a build you do in a video game, and like has like the Veneno style, like a budget Veneno style kind of thing going through here. The wing coming across, but yeah, this is an interesting build. Looks like straight out of a video game. So pretty cool here. We got 2 Singers. This one's got a Targa top, and it's like a Canadian spec, the red on white. It's really cool. These things take so long to be built, but it's nice to see that the city's now having quite a few of them. It used to be, I think, 1 around, and now you actually do see them driving. And then this one as well. Now here's the thing, they're really cool to see, and in Toronto, you know, it's a big deal of a car, but when you just come back from car week, these are literally everywhere and you don't even take pictures of them there. It's kind of hard to get really excited about them because you're somewhere else. Then the Porsche 959, the original hypercar, pretty much meant to be a rally car, but then they ended up mostly just using it for the road. This thing has one of the most complex suspensions that I've ever seen. Almost nobody knows how to actually work on these properly, but it's really cool to see there's one here that's properly functional and working, and you know, in really, really good shape. These are actually easy to drive and very usable. So for a, you know, 80s supercar or hypercar, you want to say, that's pretty rare thing to find. Next has the Enlargo A12 GTS, so the Roadster with the wide body, and this thing is crazy. We actually heard this at Mina's shop. We saw it there for a while. This thing sounds insane. I didn't know this is here. Jag X J220 with the S kit. It's not a real S, but it has the S kit. So guys, yesterday we left pretty early because it started getting rainy and cold, but it's day 2. We got the XJ220 behind us. Ferrari 360s, a 458 over there. I think the supercar class just finished or just about to go on. So we got a bunch of cars. We just got here a little bit late today, but there's still plenty of cars to see. And yeah, let's go see what's around, what's driving. The XA220, one of my favorite cars. Now, this one has the S kit, but I think they did a bunch of other stuff to it to make it usable. Because the one thing about these cars, they don't really work. It's very rare to see an XA220 with over like 4,000 miles, because it's very hard to get them over that because they just don't really work. But this one gets driven pretty consistently. So this one, honestly, is probably the most reliable one I've ever seen. Then, you know, your average McLaren 570. And look at this TVR right here. Fun fact, this guy actually lives in my neighborhood. I see him like around the gym and stuff in this car, just driving around normally, which is honestly awesome. Yeah, the TVR is just wild, you know, just the craziest car you could possibly buy. A British car that was bought by a Russian investor at some point that made it even crazier. But yeah, look at this lineup, and I think it's kind of going to fill up every row. But man, this is pretty awesome. Throwing out here, oh, look at that. The Fast and Furious 2 R34 GTR. That's pretty cool, you know. That's probably the most legendary JDM car with the most legendary JDM kind of livery on it. Look at this, guys. If you're my age or anything similar, you grew up on this car. Not specifically this one, obviously. I don't think this is the one from the movie, but the livery, the car, everything. I mean, I could tell you every single line in that movie. I know the script by heart. So awesome to see that someone kind of did that and driving around with that. Honestly, I feel like I would probably do the same. And the 6-speed gated Murcielago pulling up right there. And of course a Viper TA. These are so sick. I really wanted to buy one. They were just out of my budget when I bought the GT4. Oh yeah, look at this. Just works perfectly fine. I love the XC220. It's the most undervalued car in the world right now, if I had to say, honestly. Yeah, the 458, great car. That car back in 2017 had a sticker on the front that said #FRoy. So now it's like, it was a running joke. Probably every car in the rally had that. He was the first one to have that. So 7 years later, we're still talking about that. Now, thanks to Lucas from Autostrada, we got some prime parking right here with this GT3 right here and Sean's 911. And then I kind of parked my GT4 almost as an off-roader, but you know, good parking spot close to everything. But like the best car ever, honestly. Like if you have to get one car, you can't sell it, you can't drive anything else, I think, come on, it's got to be a 4.0 997 GT3 RS, because it's just the best version of the best car ever made. Like, I honestly, I can't even tell you anything different. Mercy. That Mercy sounds crazy. Fun fact, has 80,000 kilometers.
Here this afternoon.
Okay, so it's day 3. We're back here. It's not the same day as the last clip, but we have a new group of cars that I don't think we've really seen go around the track before. We have a GT3R in comparison to these two 992 GT3 RSs, so you can see how much more hardcore the R is than the RS is. Behind that, Ferrari Testarossa in black. Pretty cool. Normally you see them in red. You don't see them driving out too often anymore, so it's nice to see one that's about to go around the track. Behind that, honestly, this car aged so well. The 430 Spider, I feel like it wasn't a big change from the 360 when it came out, but I think it did age a lot better, and it still looks somewhat modern compared to the 360. Then we got, you know, your typical McLaren 570S, but behind that, the Ferrari 458, we saw that yesterday as well, and the 2 Vipers behind. I do want to go take a look at those. So, fun little story. This is a Viper TA. I'm talking more about a GTS, but my GT4 is right over there. When I was looking to buy one, I actually really wanted a Viper GTS. It was so close to my budget, but it was just outside of my budget that I couldn't really make it happen. And instead, I got the GT4. But here we have the TA, which kind of, I think, the trim between the GTS and the ACR. And behind that, we got kind of the first-gen Viper. Pretty cool to see. Now, this just came in. So this is the Performante Spider. And weirdly, I do feel like these are cars that are going to age insanely well, because new Huracans, if you want to get a hardcore Huracan, you can only get the STO, which does not come in a Spider. And I think because this is the only real track Huracan in a convertible that was ever made, this would probably actually be worth some good money in the future. And you don't really see them a lot. Then the V12 Ferrari F12, 730 horsepower, back when cars didn't have 730 horsepower like that. And a Weissman. You don't see these. The only other place I really saw them is like Germany. This might be one of the only ones in the country. I am a huge fan of these cars. They're kind of similar to Morgan's-ish in style, but I love the design of these. So the one car I didn't really get a chance to film on the other 2 days I was here is this, the Wire Roasters. There's always a huge crowd around it, but purple carbon, and you guys have probably seen this in my videos before, both previous owners have kind of lived not too far from me. This one really lives close to me, so I see it all the time. And this one actually drives it all the time. Honestly, he almost daily drives it. This car gets spotted almost on a daily basis, so you got to give credit, especially in Canada, for someone to be driving a Pagani, you know, on almost an everyday type of frequency. That's absolutely crazy to me, and I love that. You got to respect that. Now here's a Viper ACR. I don't want to tease you guys too much, but high likelihood that in the next few months there's going to be a Viper ACR review on this channel. So nowadays a Huracan's kind of like the go-to Lambos. You see there's an ST over there, but I kind of grew up on a different generation. I grew up on the Gallardos. Here is a Spider right here, but the problem with the Gallardos that I find nowadays is everybody kind of modifies them. As much as this one is pretty nice looking, the only thing really done to it is the stripes. You don't see a lot of clean ones, but I just noticed this one right here. So pretty clean Gallardo coupe right here, and you see the glass engine cover, which is pretty, I don't want to say rare option, but definitely not all of them had it. But the cool thing about this is that there's almost a matching one right here. The differences are obviously no glass engine cover, but as you can see, this one looks a little bit rougher, which is common for a lot of Gallardos. They're not in the best shape, but you can see the wing here is a little off. But man, the just original Gallardos unmodified are incredible, and I just saw something so awesome about this one. The windows are very tinted. I don't know if you guys can see maybe through the windshield, but it is a gated manual Gallardo. I mean, this would be a perfect car. I would love to drive one of these. I grew up on these, and a gated manual just makes it perfect. So the wide body Aventador is leading. We got Adrian getting me a thumbnail right here. The back end is crazy on this car. Honestly, I don't think the build quality is probably the best, but so yeah, and the Ghost, kind of the most normal out of all the cars are going to be driving it, man. It's really quiet in here. You really notice that. Like, I feel like I'm in a just completely like isolated room or something in this car. But yeah, Ghost, not the most exciting, but it's a very nice car. Okay, so next up is the Aventador SV Roadster with the proper racing seats. So my favorite option on any car really is proper seats, but on these they're truly terrible. But because of the racing seats, you have to get them, and the more terrible they are, the more I think you need to get them. So if you don't have an Aventador SV with this, you made a wrong choice. Now to start up the SV, press the brakes. That's it. So yeah, you know, got a few people watching, but no pressure. And yeah, let's go take this thing to get loaded up. Okay, so starting up the Veyron, gotta turn the key, then press the start button right here. But the one thing is, if you guys notice, you can kind of tell in the back, the spoiler is up. When that's up, the suspension is way too far down for me to clear any of that. So I gotta put the spoiler down. I gotta press the button right here, and where it says handling mode, now it's gonna go off, and slowly the car angles from the back, kind of goes up, and then the front goes up and the wing lowers. So we're gonna wait for that. It's gonna take a bit. You see the wing lowering back there, and then we'll drive it over there. And the tightest fit of them all now, gotta squeeze in to the LaFerrari, and the key in. Now, if I would have closed the door and started up, it might have started up in eco mode, but we all know nobody wants to hear eco mode, so if I leave the door on, weirdly, the engine will start. So that sounds pretty good. Probably the best sounding one yet. But yeah, let's drive it. I might not film while I'm driving it because there's a lot of people filming, and I gotta squeeze this car through some places. Last but not least, the GTO, the craziest spec of them all. And surprisingly, actually, this is the same color as the LaFerrari, but not the matte finish. So the opaco means matte finish pretty much on the cars, but this is also Bianco Fuji. But I love this, and I love this fire extinguisher thing here. Awesome. But yeah, let's start this car. Turn the key all the way, wait a second for everything to start, and then the Ferrari Enzo V12 starts right up. Now this is a very cool view. In the GTO, looking at the Veyron, the SV, and the LaFerrari. Doesn't get much better than that. So guys, that was Drive Festival 2024. Cars are being loaded on, and we are gonna go home.